What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 45, and we start today's episode off with some player training. You might have noticed Ivan Toney's brace in the last game against Aston Villa does mean he is still leading the way in the Golden Boot race with now 13 goals for the campaign. And also we have an academy update here as well as we enter November. So of course after playing for August, September and October, now we're entering November. I don't know why on earth I said that. And as you can see, these are our fixtures for November. 3 games coming: Burnley away at Turf Moor, the Saints at home, and Everton away at Goodison Park wrap up November. And also there are 2 international games as well. In the last episode, if you guys missed it, we decided to take the England job after the FA said we want you to manage our nation coming into Qatar 2022 at the end of the season. Of course we couldn't turn that one down, and we've got 2 international friendlies. However, I did say it briefly in the last episode, if you guys missed it, I won't be playing any of the friendlies or the qualifiers. There are no qualifiers to come as we're already qualified for the World Cup this year, but when the friendlies and qualifiers come round in my career modes, we simulate those games. The only games we play are the actual tournament games, so either the World Cup or the European Championships, and if we're managing a South American side, for example, then the America's Cup. So yeah, we won't play the friendlies, don't worry, they'll just get simulated, and yeah, there you go. But still, for the first game of today's episode, we would take on Burnley away at Turf Moor, right now sat in mid-table, and heading into the game, after back-to-back games without a clean sheet after 5 straight, sadly, we wouldn't return to clean sheets in this game either. A header just 12 minutes in saw Burnley take the lead, and we were behind to Sean Dyche's side inside the first quarter of an hour. So a terrible start here, and we should have got back on level terms too in the 19th minute. Great ball through by Tony to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but a bad miss by our number 10 as he fails to hit the target, and it's still 1-0. And in a very tense first half where we might have brushed aside Aston Villa, we weren't really playing well. Our last away game was a defeat away from home against Manchester City, and we were struggling in this one as well. We had a great chance in the 39th minute, Shaw looking for his first goal for the club, but Nick Pope making a great save, turning it behind for a corner and still seeing the score at 1-0. We'd had shots on target, we were losing a possession battle, but we just couldn't find that equalising goal. And 2 minutes after the restart, things went from bad to worse. Jordan Torunarigha, who's had an absolutely superb start to the season since coming in from Hertha Berlin, goes up for an aerial challenge, hits the deck and stays down as well. Very awkward landing for our number 6, clutching his shoulder after the aerial duel, forced off with the stretcher as we lose what was being one of our best players to start the season off. So still 1-0 to Burnley. Now Torunarigha forced off via the stretcher, and in the 56th minute, oh my god, it's happened again for the second time in the series. Remember back in season 1, this thing happened against Wolves, and it's happened here against Burnley as well. Tapping X rapidly to get through the animations and get the goal kick restarted. Didn't mean to pass out with Dean there, but unfortunately the AI take advantage of my terrible mistake. Enisu now robs his man and dinks it over Dean. And listen, it's a brilliant finish. Doesn't take a touch, just chips it with perfect trajectory into the open goal. But that's the one thing about the AI and Ultimate that you've got to remember. If you make a mistake against them, they will punish you. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 0. It's my fault. I was too eager to get the play restarted there, tapping X, and Burnley doubled their lead. Nick Pope then made a great save to stop us from reducing the deficit and halving it to 1, as it was still 2-0. And with 3 minutes to go, this summed the game up. We created so many chances in this game, but could not put the finishing touch on it. Shaw with a great cross to the far post, picks out his bro Ivan Toney. 13 goals for the season and the top scorer of the Premier League so far, Ivan Toney. Cross to the far post, free header, 5 yards out, heads it over the bar. Burnley 2, Sheffield United 0. We should not have lost this game. We certainly shouldn't have failed to score in this game. Nick Pope makes some brilliant saves though, as he stakes his place for he stakes his claim for a place in the World Cup squad come the end of the season. But 2-0 the final score. It's the first time we've failed to score a goal all season long, so I'm not going to hit a panic button after that defeat there. But either way, it is now 2 defeats in 3, back-to-back defeats away from home, and also Jordan Torunarigha dislocated his shoulder as well. That was one of those games where literally everything goes wrong for you. Torunarigha down, he's going to miss 8 weeks of football, including the very busy December calendar month of football, so very concerned about that. Jordan, he's had a great start since coming in, but we'll be without him now until January, so big injury blow there for our number 6. That is absolutely gutting. But following the defeat, it was time for an international break, exactly what we needed as well. This wasn't what we wanted to see though. Oliver Norwood breaking his elbow on international duty, and our captain's going to be out for 4 weeks as well. But an international break is what we needed. You know, 2 defeats in 3 games. Had a great start to the season, but now no clean sheets in 3. Only 3 points picked up from a possible 9. We needed the boys to go away on international duty and come back refocused and recharged. And as you'll see, we beat Mexico in my first game as England manager, where Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored, which was really nice to see. Get his first goal for his country. Ran over to celebrate me on the sidelines, and we lost to Spain in the away trip by 2-1. But of course, they're friendlies. As I said, we would simulate those games, and I wasn't really fussed either way. And also, we had 3 more scouting updates as well from our scouts currently based away in the world right now. And once again, no one getting put in our academy so far, so we'll leave things as they are. As I said before, this year I just want to get the creme de la creme type of players, and only the very best type of players that will either have the exciting prospect tag or potential to be special. Anyway, second game of today's episode, and we will now take on Southampton here, back at Bramall Lane. And on the back of 2 defeats in our last 3 games, on the back of our first game this season without a goal, where the focus was on Ivan Toney to start this game off. Because of course, Toney this season, top scorer in the Premier League, having an absolutely superb campaign with 13 goals scored already, and now the odds-on favourite to win the Golden Boot come the end of the season as well. Well, the pressure is on Toney. You know, the pressure is on Toney. If we are to do something special this year, he's the man that's going to have to step up. Everyone knows that now. He's the star of his team at the moment, and therefore he's going to have to get back to his best if we are to make sure we return to winning ways here against the newly promoted side. So Southampton, of course, relegated in Season 1, winning the Championship in Season 2, back into the Premier League for Season 3. Well, we would start this game at a fast pace, hoping to make sure we'd return to winning ways here after 2 defeats in our first 3 games. And in the 20th minute, well, I've got to say, I'm loving them as a duo to start the season off. No goals in the game against Burnley, but they combine for our first goal here at Bramall Lane. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the perfect strike partner for Ivan Toney. Lovely link-up play here between our dynamic duo. Dominic rolls it through, Ivan one-on-one, doesn't miss, and he's back on the score sheet with his 14th goal in his 13th game. 1-0 to Sheffield United, and it could have become 2 in the 35th minute. Shaw play it across the fleck, off the crossbar, but Toney heads in the rebound and bags his brace with 10 minutes to go. And after the first 2 seasons, when we conceded rebound goal after rebound goal after rebound goal, it's karma, man. It's karma. Now we're starting to score rebound goals, and now we're getting the luck. 2-0 Sheffield United, fortunate goal, but it was a first half we were absolutely dominating, as we were desperate to make amends after our defeat away at Burnley, and we were going to do just that. These two are such a great duo. They combined for our 3rd goal as well. Wonderful hold-up play by Toney, and that goes to show you Ivan still thinks of the team, regardless of how right now he's on course to win the Golden Boot, and needs to keep on scoring to have the best chance of doing that. He could have got a first half hat-trick. Instead, he spotted his bro Dominic running into the area, rolls him through, and our number 10 makes it 3-0 as we would head into the dressing room. So Sheffield United 3, Southampton 0, but Toney would still get a hat-trick though on the hour mark, played forward by John Fleck after a lovely triangle pass there. Toney played forward, puts it past Lewis. Sheffield United 4, Southampton 0. There's his 2nd hat-trick of the season already, and his 16th goal in the Premier League this season. Another match ball for his trophy cabinet. Sheffield United 4, Southampton 0. And how great was it to see as well that we come back with a clean sheet after the international break, where Scott McKenna, you might have noticed, was put back into our starting 11 and wore the captain's armband too in this game. You know, you guys have been saying McKenna should be a captain when Norwood gets phased out of the team. Well, after Norwood's injury on international duty, after Tirana Riga dislocating his shoulder, McKenna would step back into the starting 11 and lead by example as well. Great display at the back there from Scott McKenna, back in the starting 11, wearing that armband and ensuring we would return with a clean sheet after 3 games without one. So great 4-0 victory there, and great to see Toney also stepping up as well, firing a blank against Burnley, but showing why he's the top scorer in the Premier League with a hat-trick against the Saints. But it's still 3rd and final game of today's episode, as we would take on Marco Silva's Everton away at Goodison Park, as Dominic would return to his former side, aiming to make sure we get back-to-back wins and our first away win after back-to-back losses away from home as well. So lots of attention on Calvert-Lewin to start the game off, and what a chance he had as well to score a brilliant solo goal inside the first 5 minutes. Lovely teasing dribbling, goes through to shoot, but Jordan Pickford prevents his former teammate from scoring against him and making it 0-0. We had started off on the front foot in this game, and in the 34th minute, another great chance for Tony to get another goal in this team, and he would do just that in style as well. What a brilliant first touch by the Shocker to beat his man. That was absolutely superb. Played through by Ravel Morrison, and look at that for a touch. Takes it round in one way and then goes round the other side of him. Heel to heel flicks around Jordan Pickford, and if he wants to be the star of this team, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, but as things stand, he is handling the pressure superbly. 17th goal, and it's 1-0 to the Blades, and despite being dominated in possession in the first half, we were leading at half time and could have made it 2-5 minutes after the restart, and Calvert-Lewin could have scored against his former team. Lovely composed chip there, but Lucas Digne gets it off the line as it's still 1-0. So still leading by a goal, which past the hour mark here, the Toffees would get back on level terms. Hornby getting a start in this game would give Everton their equalising goal. Played forward and puts it at the near post as the Toffees are back on level terms. But in the 65th minute, a chance for us to get ourselves back in front, a chance for Dominic to make it 2-1, and at the third time of asking, he would do it. He would score against his former team. It was always going to happen. He was up for the game. He wanted to score here on his return to Goodison Park, and he would do just that in style. All three of his chances came with a bit of skill. The first one after a lovely solo run, the second one a nice dink, but the third one he gets it just right, as Goldilocks would say. Chips it over Jordan Pickford with the perfect trajectory, and I love this as well. He didn't even need to see the ball hitting the back of the net. He knew it was going in before it nestled in. Shows the respect of the celebration. Dominic will always be grateful for his time at Goodison Park and always have a soft spot for Everton, but now he's at the Blades and he's in the form of his life. 7th goal in the Premier League already for our number 10. What a start he has had this season, and with all the attention on Ivan Toney this year, you can't forget how good Calvert-Lewin, his strike partner, has been. So the Blades back in front, it's 2-1, but the lead wouldn't last for very long. Once again, the Toffees would battle back and get themselves back on level terms. Across the middle, headed into the far post by Galeno as it's 2-2, and as stoppage times, we are holding on for a point. The Toffees were looking for a late winner, and they would get it as well. Tom Davis turns it in, and all of the Toffees' goals in this game as well came from inside the 6-yard area or on the edge of the 6-yard area. Davis turns it in from close range, makes it 3-2, and that is going to be our third straight away defeat for Sheffield United. We hadn't lost a single game all season long, but now our last 3 away games, for a possible 9 points, we've picked up 0. 3 straight defeats on the road for Sheffield United. All 3 of our defeats this year coming away from home. We stay in Europa League place, but that is very concerning indeed. 3 straight away defeats, 3 goals scored there by the Toffees. They cut the gap on us to 3 points in the race for European football as well. It is going to be very tough for us this season to maintain a European place. If we are going to do that, we'll need to pick up our away form. A worrying run for Sheffield United, and that will need to be improved on if we are going to finish 5th this season. But that was today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.